The crypto market is still struggling and Bitcoin just can't seem to break free from this dip. Altcoins are bleeding and everywhere you look, there's major confusion. Everyone's asking the same question: when does this end? Well, here's the truth. We need patience because there's a massive storm of liquidity building right now, and if you missed my video breaking it all down, here's the quick version. The Fed just ended quantitative tightening on December 1st, which means they're creating hundreds of billions in fresh dollars. The government is spending trillions through Donald Trump's big beautiful bill, which is timed perfectly before the midterm election next year. Corporate debt is refinancing at lower rates, freeing up billions in cash. China is pumping trillions into their economy, and when we hit Q1 2026, banks can legally lend way more thanks to a little something called the SLR reform. As we go deeper and deeper into 2026, we'll see Europe and Japan fire up their money printers, and the Clarity Act could unlock institutional capital that's been sitting on the sidelines for years. We're talking about a global liquidity cycle peak, the kind we haven't seen since 2021, and we all remember what happened then. When that liquidity storm finally rains on the markets, everything changed. Next year, this listing of the top cryptos will look completely different than it does now. Assets that seem stuck today will be making moves that surprise everyone. Which brings us to the great debate that's been all over X. People are losing friends over this question. Will Solana flip Ethereum? Is it even possible? In this video, I'm going to answer that question with cold, hard facts and data. I've been researching and formulating a thesis here for a very long time. And what the data is showing right now is something most people aren't prepared for. And if you stick with me to the end of this video, I'm going to tip you off to something massive that's right around the corner. So get comfortable, hit the like button, and let's get down to business. But before we do, here's a quick note. I'm not a financial advisor and this isn't financial advice. Crypto is high risk. Always do your own research and treat this content as pure education to help you understand the space better. Now let's start with something basic but powerful, and that's reliability. In crypto, nothing kills excitement faster than a network that keeps going down when things get busy. Remember back in 2017 when the CryptoKitties craze took down Ethereum? Solana changed that game. Right now, it's clocking over 77 million transactions every single day. To put that into perspective, 77 million transactions is more than Visa processes on an average day. Another way to think about it is if every person in California sent 3 transactions today, that's Solana's daily volume. The network handles all of this through its proof of history system, which timestamps everything at very high speeds, keeping everything synchronized for the entire network. And I'm not just looking at the transaction volume. If you look at the processing speed, Solana is faster than Bitcoin, Ethereum, PayPal, MasterCard, and Visa. Yes, faster networks do exist, but nothing that has proven performance at this scale. One of the biggest challenges of a fast network is maintaining uptime. The faster you are, the higher the risk of going down. This was one of the biggest criticisms for Solana in the past, but as of today, the numbers speak for themselves. Solana has been running at 100% reliability for 21 months straight. The last outage was in February 2024, and since then, there's been no outages, no blackouts, and no network freezes. When we're talking about moving money at scale or building applications for millions of users, getting this part nailed down is key. Now let's talk about what's actually happening on the network. Yes, Ethereum is bigger and has been around for much longer, but Solana is actually leading when it comes to DEX volume. That's the dollar value of all trades that are happening on chain. The blue bars in this chart represent Solana, and the purple bars are Ethereum. Today's snapshot shows over $3.5 billion in DEX volume on Solana, and you can see that BSC and Ethereum are significantly lower. In Q3 of this year, its average daily DEX volume hit $1.47 billion worth of swaps. When we're talking about the big chains that are going to win and gain ground on their competitors, this is one of the most important metrics I look at. It's all about adoption. There's a flip side to DEX volume too. All of that activity generates revenue. Solana pulled in $2.85 billion in revenue this year. This actually outpaces Ethereum's early growth by a huge margin, and that makes it the fastest growing blockchain this year. All of this is driven by the high adoption and activity on the network, the efficiency of the ecosystem, and institutional adoption. And it's safe to say it's the fastest and cheapest network at this level of scale. And if you want to see Solana's speed and low cost in action for yourself, let me show you something that really demonstrates what this network can do. Solpump.io is one of the most entertaining ways to experience what Solana can actually do in real time. It's fast, transparent, and pretty wild when you see it in action. Solpump runs fully on-chain and stays completely non-custodial, so you can keep full control of your wallet. Just connect through Phantom, Solflare, or whatever you're using, and you're instantly in. No signups, no personal data, just pure Solana speed. Every interaction gets recorded directly on the blockchain, so you can verify it all yourself through the Explorer. The interactive experiences are really cool. There's Crash, where you react in real time as things unfold. It tests your timing and reflexes. Then there's CoinFlip, a super simple one-tap experience that shows off Solana's instant confirmation speed. And they're always adding more new experiences. All of them are smooth, responsive, and demonstrate just how powerful Solana's smart contract automation has become. When you sign up, make sure to use my code FireHustle to get access to daily Solana cases with a max value of 10 Sol. It's a great way to get familiar with the platform. Everything is instant and transparent, no delays, just seamless blockchain execution right on chain. Head over to solpump.io, connect your wallet, and see what the buzz is about. Once you try it, you'll see why platforms like this are built on Solana. Now, aside from these interactive experiences on the consumer side, Solana is also getting a lot of attention from the traditional finance world, the suits and ties who control trillions. Exchange-traded funds, or ETFs, are like baskets of crypto that everyday investors can buy through their regular stock apps. Solana ETFs, launched at the end of October, have seen almost $900 million in cumulative inflows as of December 5th. Right now, there's 5 major Solana ETFs through Bitwise, Grayscale, VanEck, Fidelity, and 21 Shares. Big traditional financial institutions are betting on Solana and offering this as an asset to all their customers and investors. And why are they betting on Solana? Well, Solana's total value locked, or TVL, has been gaining on Ethereum over the last few years. That's money actively working in apps, from lending to trading. This chart right here shows the Solana versus Ethereum TVL over time. The light blue line is Solana's ratio against Ethereum, and you can clearly see the strong uptrend since 2023. It's currently sitting at around 13%. But if this trend continues, it means that Solana could eventually pass Ethereum and TVL. But what about the money that's flowing from chain to chain? There's a big story there too. We can see here that in the last 3 months, Solana is in the top 5 when it comes to net inflows, with $200 million coming in. And at the bottom, we see Ethereum losing ground with almost $2 billion in outflows. But if we dive deeper, we can see where things are moving. Almost all the net inflows to Solana are coming from Ethereum. So we have a bit of a double whammy here. Solana is seeing net inflows of capital, and the majority of that capital happens to be coming from the Ethereum network. This tells me that developers, apps, users, and activity are moving to Solana. Bridges are being built between old and new systems. Companies like SoFi now let you buy Solana straight from your checking account, and they're the first regulated US bank to do so. And Cash App, with its 57 million users, plans to roll out stablecoin payments on Solana early next year. So this is definitely becoming a lot more than just speculation. Some of the smartest people in the world are betting on Solana in ways that will really push adoption. And speaking of believing in the Solana ecosystem, while most people have been panicking in fear, watching everything bleed, we've actually been celebrating inside the FireHustle VIP Discord, because we've been positioned in Solana plays like Zera since June, long before the privacy narrative started to heat up. We spotted it and called Zera as the backbone for the whole wave. When the market crashed and everyone was panic selling, Zera held like a champion. The dip got bought up instantly. That's real strength, and that's what early positioning in a strong narrative on a solid network looks like. The YouTube videos give you the headlines after the move happens, but the VIP Discord is where we spot projects like Zera months before anyone else realizes, map out the narratives before they heat up, and build positions while it's still quiet. When this liquidity floods the system and everyone's scrambling to figure out what to do, we'll already have a game plan. So come check out the FireHustle VIP Discord. The feedback has been absolutely phenomenal so far, and everyone's loving it. The link is in the description down below. Come and try it out for a month. Now, Solana is not just stopping at software. They're getting very hands-on with hardware too. A few months back, I made a video about why Solana is positioned to become the Apple of crypto, and that thesis keeps getting stronger. There's the new Solana Seeker phone, their next-gen device that was built for a seamless on-chain experience right on your phone. They They had over 150,000 pre-orders that were shipped to users in over 50 countries, and I was one of them. And I have to say, so far I've been loving this thing. This device opens up a whole new gateway for adoption. Your wallet connection is instant, you tap to connect, and boom, you're trading or playing games on chain. Think about it. All of society is glued to their phones. It's the only way you get to true crypto adoption. Solana's hardware push definitely feels like a page from Apple's playbook where they control the experience end to end. They're not forcing you to buy the hardware, but they're making everything smooth and easy. Now, let's forget the technical details. Let's forget about what traditional finance thinks. And let's forget about the hardware for a second. One of the most important things in crypto is the hype. The narratives, the trends, and the attention. All of these things really drive the energy, and Solana has consistently been ahead of the curve. Remember the AI agent narratives that kicked off the pump at the start of this year? Well, Solana led that wave. Smart assistants that scan markets, execute trades, and coordinate with other agents, all running in real time thanks to Solana's speed. That narrative belonged to Solana first, and now we're seeing the same thing happen with privacy. Here's something most people don't realize. Aside from Zcash's own chain, Solana is the only other blockchain with native Zcash support. And the most cutting-edge privacy projects like Zera have chosen to build on Solana. The privacy wave is building, and again, Solana is leading. We also can't forget that Solana was the chain of choice for meme coin season and trench season. Degens live on Solana. The speed, the low fees, the culture, it all came together there. And this isn't by accident. Solana runs regular hackathons, and some absolutely beastly projects have come out of them. We're seeing some of the best developers and talent in crypto choosing to build on Solana, and when the top builders are consistently picking one chain over others, that tells you something about where the momentum is heading. If you're enjoying this breakdown of my thesis and want more, then hit the subscribe button right now. Take advantage of all the work I'm doing and never miss an update. Everything in crypto is time sensitive, and subscribing is one of the best free investments you can make in your crypto journey. And for those of you that stuck around until this point in the video, here's that something massive that I promised. Solana Breakpoint 2025 is happening December 11th through 13th, and this is where the ecosystem drops major updates. We're talking announcements from the chain itself, reveals from key projects, hackathon winners getting unveiled, and alpha that typically doesn't get posted anywhere else first. If you look at history, major market movements tend to follow Breakpoint conferences. The community gets energized, new narratives start forming, and momentum builds strong coming out of these events. So if you weren't aware of it, make sure you're keeping tabs on what drops during these 3 days. I'll be watching closely and tweeting out all the interesting takeaways as they happen. So be sure to follow me on X if you want the real-time breakdown. This one is gonna set the tone for Solana heading into 2026. So let's bring it all together. Solana's strength comes from a combination of everything I talked about. High transaction counts feed revenue, which attracts builders, which pulls in institutions, which funds more hardware and tools. It's a continuous loop. And my thesis comes down to this. A network that works, it handles the transactions with speed, earns from real use, welcomes the big money without slowing down, and innovates in ways that fit your life, from phones to privacy. We saw the DEX volumes, steady revenue, the uptime, and flows that keep growing. And that's where my Solana thesis stands today. If you have any thoughts, or if you think there's something I missed, definitely drop it down in the comments below. I read every single one. And if you want deeper dives into any of this, or want to know the specific strategies I'm using to get positioned, join the FireHustle VIP Discord. It's where we break down everything in real time. I'm there every single day with my team. The link is in the description. And before I sign off, a quick reminder, this video is for educational purposes only. It's not financial advice. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.